So today we are going to discuss about immunology. So today in this video lecture we are going to discuss its introduction. So what is immunology, and we'll discuss some basic terms of immunology. So immunology is a branch of science which deals with our immune system, and it is very important to study. So what is immunity? Okay. So resistance to diseases. So when any kind of pathogen, any kind of microbes hits our body, infects our body, there is a defense mechanism in our body built by our immune system, that is immune response, and sometimes it is referred as immunity. So it basically provides the resistance to diseases. Okay. Then another thing, what is immune system? So where all cells, all tissues work together to develop immunity, to just develop immunity to defeat the pathogen, that is your immune system. When cells and tissues work together, all the immune cells of all the immune components work together to develop immunity. And immunology we have already discussed, that is study of immune system and immune responses. So being precise, so what is the role of immune system? It protects us from non-self pathogen, which means which is a foreign molecule which is not related to us, and also genetically dissimilar, which means it has come from outside. It does not belongs to our body, our system. And there is a large phylogenetic difference also, which means if you see in an evolutionary relationship, there is a large difference between us and the pathogen. So immune system basically protects us from these foreign molecules which are not related to us, which are genetically dissimilar, and large phylogenetic difference. So these are basically referred as bacteria, virus, fungi, parasites, pollen grains. Okay, and there are certain self altered antigens, such as, which means they have already infected our cell, like those cells which are infected by viruses, fungus, bacteria, and parasites. So these are self-altered antigen, which means they have already entered in our body. Now they are keeping some changes, they are doing some changes. Okay. So these come under self-altered antigen. Our immune system also protect us from endogenous antigen. You have to keep this term in your mind, that is endogenous antigen. Okay, moving ahead. So immune system, there are two types of immune system. One is innate and another one is adaptive. So innate immune system, it is non-specific. It does not specify between the antigens. It gets activated early. It produces immediate response, but the response is very slow, not that hard. Okay, so it has given to us from birth. But talking about the adaptive immunity, it is highly specific. It activates after the antigen exposure. It does not get activated early. So when there is an exposure of antigen, then only it gets activated, and it is highly specific. So it gets slowly activated, but there is strong protection by adaptive immune response. So let's look at this graph. So on one axis there is protection, on another axis there is a time. So when there is a antigen exposure, just look at this. when there is a antigen exposure, so the first thing will fight with it is innate immunity, and ultimately it will slow down, it will decrease. You can see the peak is decreasing. Later on, the adaptive immune system will come into the area and it will fight with the pathogen, and there is a continuous exponential fight going on with the adaptive immune system. Okay. So this graph was just a normal thing to show the responses of innate and adaptive immunity. So innate immunity has, talking about innate immunity, it has so many barriers: physical barriers, cellular barrier, and there are certain blood proteins. Physical barriers, talking about, we have skin, then we have mucous membrane through nose, through stomach, through mouth. There are certain hairs and cilia. These hair cilia also act as a physical barrier for immune system. And gastrointestinal tract, lysozyme, the stomach, HCl, hydrochloric acid, all these things basically act as physical barrier. Talking about cellular barrier, so all the cells which are comprising to fight with the pathogen, it come under cellular barrier, such as macrophages, dendritic cells, neutrophils, eosinophils, natural killer cells, basophils, mast cells. All this will become under cellular barriers. Then we have blood proteins. So we have here complement system proteins, interferons, defensins. So these are certain physical barrier, cellular barrier, and blood proteins of innate immunity. These are the components of innate immunity. Then we have broad pattern recognition. We have two things here, PAM and DAM. So these are basically pattern recognizing receptors. These are called as toll-like receptors, which basically recognize different patterns of pathogen. So PAM refers here pathogen associated molecular pattern, and DAM refers here damage associated molecular pattern. So these all come under defense of innate immunity. So talking about adaptive immunity is distributed into two types, natural and artificial. So natural, it is two types, passive and active, where passive energy is not required. Suppose a baby is infected and he is getting antibody through her mother milk, through his or her mother milk. It will be called as passive, natural, adaptive immunity. Then we have active, where energy is required. It is basically natural contact with pathogen. When someone hits with the infection with any pathogen, when the uh, he himself immune system responses toward it will call as natural, active, innate immunity, adaptive immunity. Then we have artificial. Artificial have also two types, passive and active. Passive, antivenom, anti-tetanus, and injections, which means the antibody is administered through someone's uh, fluid, है ना? So this comes under passive. And active, vaccines, COVID vaccines, polio, all this were the artificial active vaccines, where the antibody is given in our system, and we have to also respond towards it. So this was a very small video lecture about introduction of immune system. We will discuss in detail in upcoming lectures. Thank you.